Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to season number 2, episode number 3 of the Midwest Whitetail After Hours podcast presented to you by Hoyt Archery. Tonight, I am joined by 4 of my esteemed colleagues. Justin to my left, your screen, I suppose it might be to the right. Sure. Mike Reed, Owen Riegler, and Caleb Greiner. How's it? Caleb, has your beard gotten a lot bigger since Friday?
2
Oh
days
man,
ago.
now you're gonna hop on the
Thursday?
train. Everyone's telling me I need to shave it.
No way.
Well,
No
I
shave
don't think
November.
It's a
shaving.
good wind
There's no
protector, right,
way
Mike?
you're gonna. A wind detector. There's no way you're gonna shave that. You need to get yourself a lawnmower.
Yeah,
Um,
no kidding, man. Some sheep shears too. I'll have it.
oh boy, how was everybody's week?
Going well.
Yeah,
Going
good.
really well. A lot better than the past, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Caleb, why don't you kick it off and let us know how your hunts have been?
Alrighty. I had a really slow start to November. The activity was slow as far as the rut activity. I mean, no chasing, no bucks fighting really. I mean, I saw a few mature bucks, but just kind of feel like I missed out on the pre-rut activity this year because really didn't see anything. And then it feels like today that light switch, and we saw pretty much every buck in this area that we're hunting, and encountered one of our top deer. He actually came in, it was pretty much first light, and he's 60 yards away, and I looked over at Jake and I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's a good buck over here, and he came in about 40 yards and 45, and it was so dead silent that I was trying to figure out whether or not I was going to put it at the bottom of his belly, compensate for that drop. And I actually decided not to shoot just because I was too scared I might wound him. He doesn't drop, or he might just get a little spookish for the rest of the day. And we ended up encountering him quite a bit the rest of the day, but ended up getting on a doe. And the other mature buck that we were after in there was on a doe as well. He was posted up about probably 80 yards away for 4 hours, just fending off that doe all day with multiple bucks. It was fun to watch.
Man.
Did you make it out on the 5th, Caleb? You know, that day we talked after that rain moved through. Did you make it out that day?
On the 5th?
On the 5th, yeah.
Oh, it was awesome activity. I mean, you and I have been talking about right after that rain, especially a cold rain. I mean, the deer were on their feet big time.
Yeah, it's just what we thought it would be. At least that's what I saw.
Agree. Yep.
Yeah.
How about you, Owen? What's new, man?
Oh, like you said, I mean, it's a similar situation, you know, the 5th, right after that rain, we got in a tree like Mike and I talked about on the last podcast. As soon as it quit, you know, we went out. It was early, like 12 or 1, and we were seeing deer right from the start. You know, it was rocking. And then we went into the 6th, same thing. You know, we had good hunts. We're seeing all kinds of bucks, you know, cruising, chasing, and it was hot. And then went into the 7th, and then I probably had to hunt maybe the most memorable hunt of my life, you know, after one of the top targets. So it's some really sweet footage. He was working a real brushy ditch, sun shining on him, and the footage is just spectacular. I love it. You know, he's twisting his head through the brush and stuff, and it's just, you know, heck, I've been videoing probably 20 years. I don't know that I have anything that I think is just that sweet because, you know, it's in the timber. It's one of those that you live for. It just puts you back hunting, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, spectacular. And then, like you were talking about, Caleb, I had a similar situation to what you did. He was working in the range, and I had ranged a couple things with my rangefinder, you know, kind of trying to guess where I might have to shoot. And at the last second, I realized he wasn't going to turn and come closer. He was going to walk straight across this path. And so I stopped him. And then I was faced with that same situation you were talking about. Like, okay, you stopped him. Now he's on alert. He's probably going to duck, you know.
Yep.
And so I played that just like you did. I put my 30 right dead on, even though I was shooting 40. And he ducked into that thing like a thing of beauty, like it was just meant to be. Just ducked and center punched him. And yeah, it couldn't have worked out any better. So we were pretty stoked.
You're a better man than me, Owen.
It's a tough thing to do because you got to have so much confidence that that's what he's going to do, you know. But you know, you figure if he doesn't, You know, you're no worse for wear other than you got to lick your wounds for a while.
Mhm.
Find him another day. When it works out, oh man.
That's awesome, and I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, it's really good. The best part was we went on the recovery and we picked it up and we only went maybe 20, 30 yards. It's real spotty blood. We couldn't find much, you know. And we found where he stood there. This is like 20, 30 yards later because he got into some brush and we couldn't see him. We found where he'd stood there for a while. And then we lost blood. We couldn't take it anywhere. So we're going down this trail trying to find a speck anywhere. Which way did he go, you know? And there's kind of some tall weeds there. And must have walked by him 2 or 3 times. He's like 10 feet off the trail in these tall weeds. I don't see, we don't smell him, so I keep walking by him. And finally, Devin goes up and goes down the trail. And then when he comes back, he finally sees him, and I'm standing 10 feet from him. It's hilarious. And he just kind of holds his hand up. He's like, he just points over at him. I'm like, oh, way. You know, and I'm not expecting him to be that close because we're talking like 60 yards, 70 yards from where we shot him, you know. And so he didn't go anywhere and he was just laying right there. Of course, I'm just looking for blood all over. It was kind of comical, but yeah.
Make your heart sink for a second.
Yeah, I was starting to think that. I was like, man, we can't find blood anywhere. Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, that's exciting. What time of day was that? Was that bright and early or?
It was 8 o'clock. Yeah, I mean, as soon as we got there, we were seeing chasing. You know, we'd already seen, I don't know, 3 or 4 bucks chasing does through there, and a couple just bird dogging. You know, and he came through all alone. Just he was going to work a trail that was going to scent check. There's a trail that runs on the downwind side of a bunch of bedding, and just there's a what do I want to say? There's a thicket and a transition to open cover, and there's a trail that runs just on the outside of that thicket. And he was going to work that trail. I suppose he was just going to scent check that whole thing is what he was doing, you know, like a smart old buck would do.
Yeah.
Taking his time, looking around, smelling. Yeah. You guys will have to check that out. It's no wonder he was so hard to kill. You just watch him, even in that scenario, he's in brush like that, and he's just surveying everything, you know.
Man, how many years of history you have with him? I remember when the first year you were on the show, you were talking about Wolverine. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 4 years. This is the 4th season hunting.
Okay, yeah.
Smokes.
5 years of sheds and 4 seasons hunting. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
How old was he, Owen?
8.5 is what I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he is. I'll send his teeth in like I always do, but
Sure.
I believe he was 8.5. Yep.
That's awesome. Just like Marino, you know, 5 years of history. We hunted him for 4 years. It's a long time to know a deer.
Outsmarted me for years. Yeah, like you say, it's kind of bittersweet. You know, you've been chasing one that long. You hate to see him go, but at the same time, you know, you feel such an accomplishment. You finally got him. You know.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I think Justin, you got a story very similar, don't you?
Yeah, I've had an awesome year. I've probably had more encounters with bucks this year than I've had my whole career. It was crazy, and I've got this farm where I actually harvested this buck. I've actually started hunting it back in 08, and I've only hunted it probably 3 years of this whole time. It's only 26 acres. And I was just like, I'm done hunting these other bucks I keep having encounters with. And I was like, I'm going to go over here. This buck showed back up last Thursday it was. And I went in there on the Saturday, hung it, and I hunted it Sunday night for the first time. And lo and behold, it was the first buck that stepped on the field. And it come out, it checked some does, but it made some scrapes. It's awesome footage as well. Again, Tyler nailed it pretty good. But I didn't think it was going to happen again. He come out and he pushed the does, and my dad lives on, it's my dad's farm. And I'm like, I called him like, what are you doing? All the deer are all alert and everything. Cause I was freaking out there. The field was going to clear. And he went clear across the field, and I'd be danged. He did not, he worked his way straight to me. I mean, right to the base of the tree. And I thought I wasn't going to get it done again. And I thought I put a heck of a shot on him. But when we tracked on that trail, I had found a bed. And so we backed out, and it rained that night. So I didn't sleep at all. And it turns out I got a liver off lung, and where I'd stopped, he didn't go another 30 yards that night. So who knows? I'm sure he was dead right then and there, but yeah, it was a pretty good evening.
That's awesome.
Made it
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, the guys are giving me heck. It's like, because every time I go there, it's like I kill a deer. Because the last time, like I said, I've hunted it probably 3 years, and the very first year I ever hunted it, I killed the biggest buck I've ever hunted on the first day too. So it's just crazy how these small tracks like that work out.
That's something. Did you have history with that deer?
Yeah, yeah. I kind of feel bad about it now after the hunt's all over. I ended up talking to a neighbor. It's like, say, the way the crows flies, 2 miles, that deer was wintering over there, and he had a shed to him, and he brought it over to and give it to me. But it's kind of crazy that I didn't end up getting to tell that story about it after I found out that how far away that deer was wintering.
Yeah,
He
no
lost
kidding.
his sheds early last year in November. He had an encounter with him, and he was limping real bad. Well, I seen his hoof had a real bad. It was curved real hard, so I guess something happened to it then. But the funny story is, it actually borders Tyler's dad's farm. So I mean, you know, but
Yeah.
it's crazy how far they will travel. That guy there had all the food, in the wintertime, which of course on dad's, I can't leave no food standing there. My brother, he's got a farm, everything. He's a typical farmer. He don't want to leave any food for anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's been an unbelievable year. And then this week here's been pretty good too. As I've been filming Mitch, we had an encounter with him last night. The wind was wrong to go to. We've been hunting these 2 plots we can see them. They're only 80 yards apart. One plot's on one side of the creek and the other plot's on the other side. And I'd be danged if he didn't take a doe right beside that, down past that stand at 20 yards last night. He's about to, he's getting depressed. That's for sure.
I was gonna say, is Mitch distraught?
Yeah. Because it's been warm here in Missouri this week, and we've got some brutal cold temperatures coming the next 7 days. So, I mean, and it's right in time for rifle season too. So that's why he's running out of time to get it done with the bow.
Yeah.
When does
That's
your
true.
gun season open there?
This Saturday.
Oh boy. That's
Yeah,
early.
yep. We're gonna go. They seen him again this morning. I'm on vacation now for the next 3 days, so I'll be with him. But they seen him again this morning on the hot doe, and then the cutty links went off tonight. He went by there at 6:20, right by the stand we was in tonight. So I mean, he's in the area.
Just taunting you.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
seriously.
is.
Can you bow hunt firearm season there, Justin?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, in
Yeah.
Iowa, it's not even legal during the shotgun season.
Really?
Yeah, it seems crazy. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but
Yeah. So if you harvest it with a bow though, you got to tag it as a rifle kill though. But
okay.
we only get 2 tags. You have the option 2 with a bow, like say, before rifle season, and then 1 after. But either way, it's you got to tag it. You're only allowed 2 deer no matter what.
I gotcha.
So, but yeah, it's all the deer that ones I was targeting. I mean, they're just daylight. Seems like every day. I mean, I can't emphasize enough on this cutty link system how we went to it. It's just we're not going in there but to hunt or put food plots in early, fall there. But it's crazy the amount of daylight movement we're having.
It is an awesome tool.
You attribute
yeah.
that to a lack of intrusion or what?
I believe it is. I mean, the farm's really thick now from the logging we did. We're going to do some more TSI, but I just think we've got everything they need. We've got food, cover, and water. So, I mean, they really don't have no reason to go anywhere, is my opinion.
Man, Justin, has your dad ever thought about selling that farm?
Yeah.
That sounds
You
like
been looking for a place in Missouri, Owen?
I think so. That sounds like a fun one.
Yeah. And it's crazy too. So that's another thing. Speaking of the cutting link systems, I've always ran cameras there. I just never check cameras, but every 2 weeks, and I always like to stay out of places during the rut. And it's just every year I check them after rifle season, and there's a shooter moving in daylight in there. So I was always too late, but I was always targeting another deer on the main farm. But now with that, running the cellular cameras, it's a big help for me.
You can react a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, and have you and Justin been able to compare stories?
No, I had just heard a little bit about his story, because I was doing the lead up to this coming week's show.
Right.
So I'd heard a little bit about the history, and that's all that I knew about it. So, yeah, interesting to hear. Yep.
Any common thread for the two kills?
What was the date you killed yours, Justin?
October 30th, last Sunday.
A
Okay.
little different time frame. I mean, as far as when it really starts
Right.
ramping up, November 7th. But was yours more so on a feeding pattern still? Or
Yeah. Yeah, he was the thick timber there to the south. And like I said, I had that camera there and I knew he was in the area there from Thursday. And then he fed out into a cut bean field where there was like, I think 6 or 7 does that fed out before that. And like I said, he just went out. He bumped them around, but they wasn't interested too much at the time. But then, like I said, I think he hit like 4 or 5 scrapes on that field edge. It's pretty cool footage.
Oh, that's awesome.
It just walks right to the base of the tree, and I didn't think I had to shoot through some brush. I didn't think it was going to happen, but I was like, he's not getting this close without me getting something off.
That's awesome.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Mike, what kind of week have you had?
Yeah, I've had. I would argue, the 2 best rut days I've ever had on the 6th and the 7th. Yeah, I don't normally sit all day unless I'm having lots of activity. And basically, both days I sat all day. On the 6th, I just wanted to switch spots. So I just got down for just enough time to switch spots. But on the 7th, we never even got down. And I mean, we filmed, all out brawls, fights both days. On the second day, it was a 4 and a 5-year-old just trying to kill each other. On the 6th, we had bucks breeding a doe right under us. We had 3 bucks fighting over the older buck that I have some history with was pushing one of them off, and one of the young ones slipped in and bred her at 10 yards. And then he came running up and got him off, and then he bred her too. And we're talking just right under the tree in the pinch on the river bottom, and 20 bucks both days, 20 plus bucks, and just nonstop activity. It's like watching a movie, it just was you never even got bored. It just was a lot of fun. Now there's, as far as 4+ year olds, maybe 3 or 4 each day. So it's a lot of young bucks, but it's just fun, very entertaining to film fighting and breeding and everything else. And obviously I'm holding out for Kelsey. So I did not have any encounters with him, but the one buck we call Daggers, no matter where I sit on the farm over the last few days, I hunted 1.2 miles apart at one point, the farthest I could get apart, and he walked under me both times. So he's that deer, no matter where I go. This morning, it's crazy. We snuck in and we got against the river and did a hanging hunt, and we had seen him all the way on the north side of the farm yesterday. And I turn around and I look in the river and he's walking a doe across the river. I'm like, there he is. So it's been a lot of fun. This morning we had a good hunt. I think, 14, 15 bucks, just cruising. It was a good cruising spot. And this afternoon was quiet, just a few young bucks and a few does. But I went back to that south plot where I saw Kelsey a few days ago. I had his picture, the 2 cameras I keep getting him on. I got him at 3 a.m. and at 5:30 this morning, right before daylight, on 100 yards from that food plot. And he was with a doe on camera last night. So I don't think he's probably bedded very far. I mean, and this afternoon going into that food plot, I bumped a buck that we've been filming not far from where we parked, just on the ditch between 2 cut fields. He was bedded down with her. He's a big 4-year-old. So there seems to be quite a few does in estrus right now, and there's, they're getting bred, and they're some of the bucks are sneaking them away and hiding them, and I don't know. We'll see if I can cross paths with him, but having some trouble.
What's your all's weather looking like coming up there? Is it gonna cool way off too?
Yeah, I believe so. I haven't actually looked. I got to go back to work the next 2 days, and it's going to be a little warmer with these south winds. But I think Friday, and Owen or Caleb, you might be able to say if you've looked, but it's supposed to turn back out of the north and get pretty cold again.
Yeah. Saturday's like a high of 31.
Yeah, there you go.
In the 10 days, all in the 30s for highs too. It's supposed to stay like
It's going to be
33.
a long stretch.
Yeah.
It's going to be windy. It's going to be super windy though on Friday and Saturday. Super windy.
I don't know
Extra
if I'm
cold.
ready for that. Yeah, that's going to be really cool.
Even better.
Oh, and you're gonna be out there? Or you're gonna be relaxing by the fire since you killed the buck?
Well, probably do the old 8:30. I'm feeling breakfast and coffee. I'll go out at 8:15 and come in at 8:30.
It's a little easier once you get a buck down.
Oh,
I've never killed a buck early like this year, like October 6th, and so every time there's a question, I'm like, I don't know, whatever. Takes the pressure off, you know.
yeah, it definitely does. Yep.
Speaking of course, actually, Caleb, what's your report? What's your story?
My story for what?
Jason might have cut out. Caleb started this show, man.
I will add one thing I forgot to mention. So it's kind of comical. So I think it was 2 days ago, Jacob and we went back into the pinch where I've been encountering my target buck, and we had a terrible sit. I'm pretty sure we sat all day, and I think we saw maybe a few does and a little 2-year-old, and we were hunting for him. So we go back to the truck, and we're driving about a mile north, and who do you think's bedded 5 yards off the road with a doe? This target
No
buck.
kidding.
Yeah. So I mean,
Really?
so it's funny. I had pictures of him that day. So it was 2 days ago, going through this timber that I had permission on, and that morning, and that night was when I saw him with that doe to the north, about a mile north. And I was thinking yesterday, a terrible wind for just to hunt the farm. And I was like, you know what? He's probably going to be on that doe all day yesterday. So I'm probably just not going to hunt, not going to risk spooking it up. And sure as heck, I mean, he was the first deer that we saw today. It was just like comical how well it worked out. But I assume he probably got off that doe. And all these deer, they work these draws all the way to where I'm at. They get the does, and then they take them to the north. So
Awesome.
just kind of cool how it all works.
Nice to know a property.
Right.
So would you
What
guys
about
say
you,
that?
Jason? You've been taking last podcast you said you're going to take your friend's son. You can have any luck?
Yeah. No, we didn't.
No.
Yeah. No.
It was honestly, it was tough hunting. And I really don't know why. I think, the first morning, so we did that podcast, I believe on Friday night, right? And Saturday morning, I think it was raining, right?
Yes.
Saturday morning, and then you guys probably got rid of the rain somewhere around midday, I think. And we went out at about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and it was still raining pretty good. I didn't take my camera out of the bag until probably 4:45. And that's when the rain stopped. And once that stopped, we saw a lot of chasing down the ridge. There was kind of deer running everywhere, and after we had that good hunt, that was pretty much it for seeing rut activity. The last 3 days, I haven't seen a chase. I haven't seen a mature deer. I haven't gotten a mature deer on camera. So the neighbor that I'm right next to, we keep in close contact. He's had some good hunts, but he's probably a mile and a quarter away. On Sunday, a huge one was killed on the property next door. I have trail camera photos from 2019 of that deer.
Whoa.
He was a giant. But neither of us had gotten that deer on trail camera, so I had no idea it was there. But honestly, I haven't spent a lot of time there in the last 2 years. This is the most time that I've spent on that lease in the last couple of years. So I would say, based on what I saw, that a lot of our bucks are in lockdown. You'd expect that you're going to get some of them on trail camera, if they were out seeking at all. But I'm guessing this first round of does has come in, and that's why we're seeing everything as quiet as we are. at least in Wisconsin, at least
Yeah. That's what
the
I was
That,
going to ask you, Jason. I wondered if you guys are maybe just a little ahead of us on the rut.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I hunted Iowa, I felt like I had gotten there like on the 28th or 29th of October. And, I had just come from actually where I was today in Southwest Wisconsin. I'd come from there straight down to Iowa to Mount Pleasant. And it's like, you just kind of reset and started back over with that late October, except it was early November. Um, so, but anyway, that's my 2 cents. It's low, and every year now for the past 4 years, I've been really meticulous at keeping trail camera pictures. Not so much of a specific deer, unless it was Gumby, and I was hunting that deer. But it's so easy to load all those buck photos in there, and then just sort them by the date. And the last, can't think of it, 3 or 4 years. I'm going to say 3 years. Um, November 5th or November 6th, it just the trail camera pictures, instead of getting 10, 12, 15 bucks a day coming into a water hole or hitting a scrape or whatever the case may be, it just sort of crescendos down, or decrescendos really, from the, I'd say, second or third through the fifth or sixth. So not a surprise, but I think you guys are probably a day or two away from lockdown yet, by the sounds of things, or no? Are you there yet? No.
I really liked the 9th, 10th, and 11th. I've killed a lot of deer on those days, so I think we still got a few good days before we get into, what you're seeing. I mean,
Yeah.
you never know because you're always hunting one deer. And I mean, is he with a doe? You don't know, but
yeah.
no.
It's feast or famine, it's like you can have a crazy hunt. You get one doe that's about to go and you can just see so many deer, but go around the corner and there's no deer. So it feels like they're all locked down. But yeah, I think they say what peak estrus is November 15th here or something like that. So that's when I guess the majority of them should be in estrus, and every day leading up to that we get more and more of them coming in. So there's still a lot of activity right now though.
Yeah, it's our cameras. Even tonight, it was a beautiful night, but it was dead. It was dead. All the cutty links. As a matter of fact, while we were sitting here, I just got some pictures in, and that's probably the first time since 1 o'clock this afternoon. The only reason I got those is because I had to reset a camera, and I stood in front of it for 5 minutes to make sure it took my picture. Um,
So you just got an email full of yourself.
yeah, yeah. No, that was earlier, thankfully.
What are you running your cameras over right now, Jason? Like scrapes, pinch points, trails, or just wondering?
Um, since I killed one, on the second, I haven't really done anything on where I hunt up in, we'll call it South Central Wisconsin. Southwest Wisconsin, I really didn't pay a whole lot of attention to that because I really had zero intentions of hunting there. But as you guys know, things change, and so honestly, right now I'm just in the process of moving all the cameras that a couple buddies of mine had stuck out in the best places that they could find. I just moved them to places that I know will produce. Um, so it might take a couple days, but I put three or repositioned three of them today. So um, I expect
When
we'll get
do
something out of it here shortly.
when do all you guys start seeing like scrape activity start declining on your guys' cameras? No, a question for everyone, just out of curiosity.
Sunday, this last
Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah. What would that have been? The 6th, 7th? Something like that.
Yeah, I think the 6th.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, because it had
Go ahead,
rained all
Dustin.
day Saturday, and I think I've seen, out of all the scrapes on the walk in on the 2-track, which is probably a mile and a quarter. There was probably, the first time I went in there on the 2nd, there was probably 25 scrapes, all along that 2 track. And I think today when I walked it, there was 2 that had been touched since the rain.
Yeah, I mean, I think as what I've observed over the years, the more come into estrus, the less the bucks are worried about scraping. You transition from the pre-rut to the rut, they're more chasing. They're not stopping and working scrapes. I mean, I get a few of them. Like after that rain, I had Kelsey. There was one scrape. I assumed he was bedded right there because he got up and worked it 3 times throughout the night on one single scrape. It was like 9 p.m. and midnight, and then 2 a.m. And I thought, boy, that's interesting. I wonder if he's a doe with a doe right there. And we ended up seeing him that afternoon. But yeah, I just think we're on a slow decline now from just that regular scraping and marking to they're just not worried about it. What do you see, Owen?
Yeah, I would echo exactly what you said. I think you start to see that gradual decline as more and more does start to come in, So right around this time, it's starting to, decrease. And then by the time you get into peak breeding, and then mainly the only thing you're seeing is 1.5 years, 2.5 that don't have does, They're the only ones scraping. Other than that, they're dead.
Yeah.
And then you come back to them as they start to free up, and they'll start to come back to them a little bit. They'll start to heat back up,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's about all I'm seeing is 2 and 3-year-olds hitting the scrapes right now. An occasion you'll get the 4 and 5-year-olds to hit them, but it's mainly the little guys that are hitting the scrapes for me right now.
The 4 and 5-year-olds got better things to do.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's tough to rely on cameras right now. I mean, if you've got them on good trails and good funnels and gate gaps, that information of the buck's still in the area, but it's almost disheartening whenever you're like not seeing them anymore. But they're in there, they're busy, they're running around, so it's just putting your time in the seat.
Right.
Yeah, I just about throw the cameras out the window right now. Like I'm going to use all the information I gathered getting up to this point, and then of course previous years what you learned, and then just be in the stand.
That previous year stuff is really invaluable. I've really noticed that, particularly in Southwest Wisconsin. Probably just because I've got a little more time there. But as I look back, I was looking back at a bunch of trail camera pictures. I'm like, the same thing. Maybe it's different bucks, but they're still doing the same thing on about the same dates, as long as the weather is relatively the same. Even with that warm stretch that we had, they still were working scrapes. They did the same things. When I looked back on the preceding year's trail camera pictures, but I don't think anything is real earth shattering or odd about any of that. I think we'd all agree that they, on relatively speaking, do the same thing every year, right around about the same time. And I think if that's true for a deer that you're just chasing, like Wolverine, or would you agree with that, Owen?
Yeah, absolutely. You look at his home core from year to year, and even though maybe it shifts a little bit different times of the year, you go back to the same time of year and he's usually in the same area. So makes me look pretty bad. I haven't killed him up till now.
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but
he was one I always thought I'd kill late season. You get the weather that we always dream of. It's snow and freezing cold. And you're just like, come on out. And he never would. He would not walk out on a food source. You had to be somewhere in the timber to catch him. He's just one of those deer.
That's something.
Yeah.
Any change of plans for you, Mike or Caleb, in terms of the tactics that you're going to employ here the next couple days?
Not really. I mean, I
other
keep
than
sitting
work,
the pinches, I gotta go work for 2 days, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday I'm back out, and I'm gonna ride out the rest of the hopefully best days. And last year I killed on the 10th and the 17th, and I you just never know. I just go sit, and I've really been focused on an area of the farm. I haven't hunted very much just because this buck that I'm hunting is just there, and he wasn't really there the last 2 years, but I don't know what has got him over there, but he's narrowed down to a relatively small area. I'm getting him on the same 3 cameras pretty much every day. all these other bucks, no matter where I go sit, I'm seeing the same 4 and 5-year-old bucks, and he's just seems to be either moving off the farm where where I don't know what he's doing, or he's just staying in a small area. And he's a buck. I mean, this is my 4th year knowing the deer, and he's never done this before, so it's been a little bit, of a fun puzzle to try to figure out. But I've been hunting an area that I haven't had the best winds to hunt it, but I'm I'm starting to feel like I need to just go sit the best pinches and just wait, and I don't have that on this part of the farm where he is. And, I went hunt the pinch. Let's see, that was the 6th, when I just had the bucks breeding and fighting and everything right under me. Just, he didn't come up there, and there he was on camera all the way to the south. So then I went back the last 2 days back to the south. But yeah, I'll just keep sitting the funnels and the pinches and putting time in the seat, see if he won't stroll by.
Do you think
Cool.
Kelsey's the boss of the farm, or is there another boss there?
He seems to be. He's 6.5 this year. We passed him last year at 5.5. We've taken 2 5.5s off this year already, or yeah, 2 5.5s off already this year. I mean, there's a couple. This Daggers buck is, I mean, hell, he whipped up on one of the 4.5s yesterday, and I mean, he's just all over the place running everything off. So could Kelsey have, crossed the road and be spending some time in another area? I mean, I know he's kind of on the corner of my property, so I think that's possible. Or he's just real happy with this little group of does he's with, and he's holding it down. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing, Mike, is they're getting this little group of does. Like Wide Nine's a perfect example. He's moved off from where I've been hunting him. I found out where he's at, and there's a little group of does. There's a little wood lot and a bunch of CRP, and almost impossible to hunt him there. But he's just satelliting those does all the time.
Yeah.
Until he moves someplace where you can catch him, What do
Yeah,
you do?
that's what I think. I basically need to wait till he breeds most of those, then he's got to go look again. And so we might be more post rut, or later rut, when he's got to go search, be able to catch him in one of these pinches.
Anybody else got anything else? Any wisdom they want to share regarding deer hunting?
Nice asterisk there. Yeah, we could all use some wisdom imparted upon us, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, always appreciate the conversation, Justin and Owen. Congrats on the deer, man. And
Yeah,
it's
congrats,
awesome.
guys.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
Yeah.
congrats, Justin.
Yeah,
Congrats.
We'll look forward to.
Can't wait to see the footage.
Yeah, yep, same with you.
Mike,
Yeah,
when are these respective shows going to play and where?
So Justin's show's on next Monday, which will be the 14th, and that'll be on our main YouTube channel and on our website. And then Owen's going to follow there on the 21st. At least that's what I imagine, huh, Owen?
Yeah, I haven't heard if they had anything else lined up after.
Yeah,
Justin's involved. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we do, but yeah. So I imagine it'll be Justin on the 14th and Owen on the 21st on the main YouTube channel.
Cool. Did we ever decide anything with respect to social media, getting something out there, or didn't anybody have time?
I figured today we had 2 kills to talk about and some pretty hot rut stuff. But here, if we're going to be getting on every 2 to 3 days and trying to do this a few times a week, we should, one of these next ones, we can do a Q&A maybe.
Yeah, let's we'll put something out on one of the social media channels whenever it is we decide to do it, and if nothing else, we can just have them email me or one of you guys, and get some questions answered.
Yeah, we can get that going.
Yeah, I've gotten a couple of emails actually today, just asking if we're going to put something up. So we appreciate the interaction from everybody that's watching and listening, and we'll definitely be doing it. Just I guess pay attention to the Midwest Whitetail social media outlets, and we'll post something when we're actually going to do it, when we don't have deer to talk about, I guess, that have been killed.
Yeah, enough
Oh.
wisdom has been imparted, huh?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
maybe we'll probably be jumping back on in a few days. You know, we can get something strategized. I was originally talking with Gavin, but then he was not on tonight, so I'll talk with either Caleb or Rye or Gavin, or we'll get something up on social
Cool.
and get some questions answered.
All right. Well, if nobody has anything else, I guess that's it for tonight.
All right, have a good night, guys.
You guys all good? All right, we're out.
Hey guys.